Yep. Hello, everybody. This is the sentencing for the Gareth Pursehouse case. Now, if you were with us for the Gareth Pursehouse case, it was a crazy story. It had all of the Hollywood stuff.
Oh,
It
yes.
had sex, it had love, it had drama. It had a beautiful doctor,
It had
Dr.
David
Amy
lusting for a
Harwick.
tranny.
Well, I'm hoping that we get to see that person again. I'm voting for none outfit.
I hope so.
Um, I mean, it is Hollywood.
Yeah.
But, it kind of boils down to boy meets girl. Girl realizes boy has more problems than even she as a therapist can fix. She leaves him. Uh, he doesn't take that well. She gets personal protection orders against him, and they go their separate ways for about 8 years. She somehow runs into Drew Carey. They get engaged for a little bit. She decides she's not really into the fame, leaves Drew Carey, becomes an advocate for the adult, film industry, as you do.
As their therapist.
Uh, which, hey, everyone needs mental health, so what are you gonna do? Um, and in all of the gin joints in all of the world, in all of the adult film awards in all of the world, which I still think they should call the Hardies. Contact me, trademark, Mo International, Duct Tape, and Holy Water Productions Holding Companies, LLC.
Worst case, we
Um,
create that award show.
oh my god, yes, we do. But, they run into each other and, Dr. Amy Harwick tries to, talk him down from his snot bubble crybaby overman reaction,
For like
and he
45 minutes.
decides yeah, for 45
Which
minutes, she
actually
is in
was a
this, like
really decent thing to do. I mean, the
yeah, I
restraining
mean
order lapsed. She didn't get it renewed.
yeah, and I mean, she, apologized for any, ill feelings. She tried to, say, "Hey, let's move on. I'm sorry that this caused you so much turmoil. I didn't realize, put your big boy underpants on," that kind of thing. He continued to slaughter both comedy and her, though, unfortunately. Um, Unfortunately, he did not take that answer for an answer. Uh, and, broke into her phone, her emails and stuff, and, she did everything she could in the state of California. She got more security. She, talked to her roommate as much as she could. I mean, they locked their doors, but Gareth decided to wait for her on Valentine's Day inside her house after breaking in, after looking directly at the Ring doorbell camera in
Him like
his
a ninja.
captain like a ninja, cutting himself, leaving all the
Oh, God.
DNA, um, possibly peeing in her corner, then claiming that she
He was
attacked
marking his
him.
territory.
Yes, she startled him, attacked him, so as you do, he had to give her a little neck hug, but she is a ninja and she used to take dance lessons and had one particular model photo that was used to the nth degree that, maybe she parkoured her ass onto the balcony railing like Spider effing Man John Wick to escape him
And then fell by accident.
and then fell of her own accord to escape him, as you do. Now, um, the judge was having none of the defense's BS. I don't know if, the defense, Doogie Howser, broke up with the judge's daughter, like, the night of prom, ran into his Bentley while he was drunk. I don't know. So they changed tacks mid-trial, and
Yeah.
they brought in Helen Lovejoy, who did not own a brush and or conditioner, and, uh, she was even more offensive because, like, "Did you leave the the gate open when y'all got Amazon packages? That was not very security po were you aware that he was sad?"
Forgot how bad the defense was.
The defense was just I mean, look, y'all, the defense had nothing to work with. This man is a flaming pile of excrement. Um, he shall be forever known as Gareth Prison Pocket to me.
Yeah,
And
Dave's crush.
and look, the real hero of this story is our favorite, the judge, who may or may not give credence to the theory that certain DNA from a certain look, maybe the leader didn't escape, but certain DNA material from a struggling Austrian painter made its way out of 1930s Germany into Argentina, was used to propagate certain, lost boys. He, made his family immigrated to America. He became a judge in the great state of California, and, now he is presiding over prison or court cases. Y'all change my mind because this man looks like there is some credence to at least some of the theories that are discussed on late night History Channel.
Hey, you.
Without m Hello, EU. Without much more further ado of me just and yeah, so and his grand plan was to unalive himself with 100% nicotine, as one does. Because, it just is what it is. Now, there are no closed captionings. This is from Court TV, so I anticipate that they will break in every 5 minutes with talking heads.
Yeah.
Hey, look, as a person who struggles with carbohydrates, I'm not gonna lie. Look, fluffiness and stress eating happens. I know how did his genius head or his genius plan fail? I don't know. How did fat Clark Kent get caught? I have no idea. But let
And I,
us without
well, and sorry, just to say, nicotine is like it's something that was like in like a plot from Columbo to unalive somebody without leaving a trace. It's very lethal in high doses. So, like, he got this plot from like movies, like Columbo.
well, and, nicotine look, if you go full Joe Rogan, it it has been used certain strands or certain look, chemistrology parts of nicotine have been used for pain reduction and such. Now, I don't know how Joe Rogan does it, and I'm assuming it's between, like, the toes or something you inject, but that's Joe Rogan. But let's continue because I want y'all to see JKD Buck, you must watch this trial. I don't think we have had a more ridiculous damn trial. I don't remember how is it you and I get these trials and Baker's always like, "How what was the trial that they were stuck on?"
God.
Uh,
Oh, I can try and get that maybe.
yeah, let me yeah,
Because
actually,
yeah,
I do
he looked good when he was younger. Oh
well,
yeah,
and
he
I do
looked like
have
a model, and then he comes into prison and he's just rah.
and I do have a side by side of how different size-wise they are because this whole, like, she fought me and I had to, fight for my life thing was just about the most damn ridiculous thing I've ever heard in my entire life. Okay. No, I don't need that. Oh, for the love of all that is holy. Could I have done anything simple? No. That would require simplicity. Oh.
I think I
I
have the picture.
well, I'm making one right now. I just
Oh, okay.
have to No, I don't want what that is not what I want, you ding dong. Well, you know my tech skills being what they are, people. This still is a duct tape and holy water production brought to you by Jesus and, well, me. So it is what it is. All right, I'm gonna try to. So it's not gonna be super de duper clear because I copied it off of a screenshot from the PowerPoint that the, um excuse me, that the, defense, I think, used or the state.
Yeah.
So, okay, here we go. But this is the difference in size between Gareth Pursehouse and Dr. Amy Harwick. Now, she's not the height, but she is the weight I lie about on my driver's license. But me and the government maintain that that is okay. So she is 5'5" and 118 pounds. He is 6'4" and 230. He did used to do some modeling work. I mean, he used to be a semi-attractive person. He did
Yeah.
not tell good jokes. I mean,
Well, yeah.
he should be on trial for assassination of comedy. But,
Remember the prison call when he was told his best friend that he has a journal of jokes that maybe he could sell them and make some money for his brother?
he is gonna get shivved in
Oh, he's gonna piss people off more than Derek Chauvin. Too soon.
They are bad. I mean, they are terrible. But again, you already have the last name of Pursehouse. That is gonna be changed to Prison Pocket in, like, 2 seconds. But let's continue. I wanna
Oh,
see the
jeez.
judge because the judge has pimped out his desk. Y'all, he has 2 Bronze Eagles, a Leanin' Lincoln, like, a retro red mic. He is ready
Yeah.
to go.
How do you
Let's
do, fellow
go.
Americans?
And I'm not even a fan of Lincoln, but he has the thinking Lincoln, and I'm here for it. Alright, let me turn this up and put a sound boost on it. Oh, come on, court. What
The camera gets screwed up for a while, but there is audio. There.
okay.
Try there. Play it. Go forward a little more.
Oh, what is
Because
it? L?
it starts without the camera on anything, but you can hear them.
Now, Sal has pre-watched a little bit of this, and
I
he
watched
said,
like the first 5 minutes.
"California people."
Yeah.
Eris, yes, if he had been arrested the night of the, slaughter of comedy, she would still be alive, and I would support that.
And then he goes up and he's hooking up with another girl when he's arrested.
I would like to talk to the woman who slept with him the night he delivered that bomb. I mean, pity Blaze can only get you so far, ma'am.
Do I just have to take girls to a comedy club and bomb in front of them?
It's not a winning strategy I would try. Yes, please take a second to sub to Sal. He is
Oh,
how
thank you.
many are you away from 600 or 500?
45.
Yes, everyone sub to Sal.
Thank you. Very close.
Now, do you know if Drew Carey actually came or?
I don't think he did, unfortunately.
Yeah, I think this would be. I have a feeling Drew Carey's also kind of not a public-y person.
No.
It would seem like as much as Drew Carey kind of doesn't do the spotlight thing, it would kind of seem too Hollywoody.
Avila on behalf of the people. Ms. Mariano, I take it, is not here.
She's going to be here in about 10 minutes, but she's fine with us proceeding.
Okay. You need to address the court on something?
I'm just waiting for my client.
All right.
Thank you, Nick.
Thank you, Nicholas.
Maybe advance forward a little more.
Oh, yes.
All right, we are on the
There we go.
murder while lying in wait. Additionally, the defendant was found guilty of one count of first-degree burglary. Let me ask, does counsel for the defendant wish to be heard?
As
Can you
far
turn it up
as-
more or no?
Anything sentencing, any issue?
On sentencing,
Yes.
yes.
Yes, you may proceed.
Well, the prosecution has filed a sentencing memorandum
Yes.
asking the court to impose.
I have it as high as I can go
consecutive
with
terms
both.
for
It's just their
which I believe
audio.
is prohibited under 654.
And the court agrees with it.
Okay,
Yeah.
that would be, thank you. I don't think the court has any discretion regarding,
Right, everything else is statutory pretty much. Yes.
thank you.
Okay. Anything the people wish to be heard?
Not as to that issue. We do have several victim impact statements.
Okay, as to that issue, that I think it's pretty clear, and I'll cite the case of People versus Williams at 157 Kellap Third at 145, regarding the same objective to be accomplished and the intent of the defendant at the time of the and the residents that would be subject to 654. I understand you've added some more names. We have 10 impact statements.
There'll be 9 here in person, and then I'll read a 10th victim impact statement from victim and witness Michael Herman.
Okay, because of the number, we need
Yes.
to have those impact statements to be brief.
Yes.
Okay. Also, as an aside, there's a non-statutory motion to return property to the judge.
I received that, I think, 2 days ago while I was in trial. I've told counsel I have to review it with the investigators.
Nice
and I
big
will,
board.
Get back to them on that.
Okay, for the court, I gotta.
Are you drunk, sir?
Court TV, you have one job.
Are you drunk, camera
Look at that
operator?
Look at that beautiful Berber carpet.
People call for the first
Sir.
impact statement from Harwood.
You shouldn't be drinking before 9 a.m.
Sir,
Oh my God.
just walk that
Well,
way
you
forward.
know, one of those.
Okay, well, I like her hairdo. Ah.
My name is Tom Harwick. I'm the forever grieving father of my dearly departed daughter, Amy. I will be reading the following words to you from paper for fear that if I didn't, I may forget what I intended to say. But you may be assured that these words are being recited from deep within my heart. To Judge Lamelli, to the incredible prosecution team, Victor, Catherine, Luis, and Scott, to the LA County law enforcement staff, to the LA County medical staff, and to the law enforcement staff from back home, I am eternally grateful for the services you have rendered to me and my family during this horrible ordeal, and doing so with the utmost professionalism and compassion. To the many witnesses who testified, I can't imagine how difficult it must have been for you to take the stand. Thank you all from the bottom of my heart for helping bring justice for Amy. To my entire family and friends back home, and to the myriad of Amy's dearest friends who took time out of their lives and traveled from afar to be with us in court, I am forever grateful for your unending support. I and my family could not have made it through this horrible ordeal without you. I really do consider you now as part of our extended family. Shortly after this tragedy unfolded, one of Amy's friends created a wristband in memory of Amy.
Look at that mask.
This wristband bears the name Amy Harwick and also the words "Justice for Amy." I have been wearing this wristband every day since, as have so many of my family and many of Amy's friends. I also placed one of these wristbands around the flower vase that rests atop of Amy's gravesite. After today's
Y'all, how the hell is his hair so still a grease ball piece of crap? And he grew a damn neck beard. You think you can hide from me, Sir Neckbeard? I don't think so. What the hell?
Did he put a cheese pizza upside down on his head last night? How is his hair that oily?
Sir, your birth control glasses, don't even. I will. Also, I am warning you, if this man starts crying, I am going to start crying too. I can't, y'all. Up gets me every time. It's a done deal, okay?
But he was
hearing,
sad.
I will remove this wristband from my
Well, if the
wrist
dad is sad,
and
I'm
from the
fine. I don't
vase.
give a crap if
Oh no,
Justice
prison
Gareth was
pocket
sad.
starts crying.
will have been served. To Amy, you were taken away from us way too soon. Thank you for creating so many wonderful memories for us during your short-lived life. Memories that we will forever cherish. I think of you every day. I miss you every day. I will forever love you, and I will do so until the day that I can join you in eternity. To the defendant, Amy did not deserve the fate that you forced upon her. I, Amy's family and friends, did not deserve the grief you imposed on us. I now wish that your fate will be life imprisonment without any possibility of parole. This will be justice for Amy.
All right, thank you, sir, and I'm sorry.
Penny Harwood?
And y'all, I know this woman, this is Hollywood. I know this woman has access to deep conditioner. There is a salon on this man has grease. This woman has dry hair.
Can't they help her out? Help your attorney out, sir.
I'm a horrible person. I am going straight to hell, but I cannot deal with his ridiculousness right now. So I'm going full Petty Ann mode.
I guess he hasn't kept up with leg day.
There's a song in the musical Rent that says 525,600 minutes. How do you measure a year in a life?
But he was going to say
Times
bottles of
4
beer on the
because
wall.
She's been taken from us almost 4 years ago. Do you measure her life through credentials, undergraduate studies from California Polytechnic State University, through her Master of Arts
guess
in
I'll
Clinical
blink.
Psychology from Pepperdine, her Doctorate of Human Sexuality from the Institute of Advanced Study of Human Sexuality? Do you measure through the love of
Quick note to everyone, that is not an accredited university. That university was never accredited fully with the Florida or California, the California university system. So it was semi-official as the University of Sexualness. But Sal and I will one day go to the Museum of Erotic Smexiness in Las Vegas because apparently they have generously gifted their entire, I think, vast library of erotic literature and art and deviant behavior stuff to that museum.
And Mo and me, as the two most immature people out there, will just giggle.
I know we would be giggling the whole time. Uh, you know, Eris, I think it's fine. Like I said, you know what? Of all the communities that need mental health,
Oh yeah.
I would think the one community that would probably have a really hard time and would be most stigmatized would probably be the adult film community. Although, look, ethically, I think it might be shooting fish in a barrel because, I mean, daddy issues might just be I mean,
Let's just say there's a market there.
but, I mean, look,
Somebody
everyone
needs to help
needs
them.
everyone needs a person to be able to talk to, and I could imagine there would be, you know, very few communities that would be more stigmatized than the adult film community, and, uh, it's California. I
Yeah.
mean, I'm sure for the community that they're in, I know, I want her to have all the sympathies too. I don't know. He's such a dill hole. He's an look, if you're eating, close your ear holes. I'm gonna give you a second. He is an anal fistula. Don't look it up. There are not it is not a good picture.
Love of Music, Tori Amos, Depeche Mode, Christina Perry, heavy metal. She turned us into metalheads. Do you measure it through accomplishments? She was a model, a therapist,
Yeah.
an author, a personal trainer. She released an exercise video. She created podcasts. She wrote magazine articles. She's a fire eater, a dancer, a budding photographer, a bartender. Do we measure her life by what's missing? The 1,000 or so phone calls that haven't come, empty chairs at family tables, through her visits home and our visits to LA? Do we measure by her relationships? She was a daughter, a sister, a granddaughter, an aunt, a wife, a stepmom, a cousin, a niece, and a friend. I want to talk about hands and touch. Your hands were filled with hatred and vitriol. Your hands were focused on harm and causing pain.
She
Your
goes on
touch
for
was
about
to
5
punish
minutes
Amy
about
for
hands.
rejecting you. We all know what your hands accomplished. But I
Mo,
want
do
you
not
to
laugh.
know that your touch was not the last touch that Amy felt or remembered. Helping hands arrived after you ran away. Hands trained to offer aid and assistance. The LA Fire Department arrived and assessed Amy's condition. The ambulance crew arrived and transported Amy to the hospital. Their hands tended her. The doctors and nurses at
Jobs
the
working with
hospital
their
tried
hands.
to save Amy. Their hands trained to
My sons have forever broken me. Why? Damn it.
That was what
This
I
woman
heard.
is using this woman is doing this lovely thing and talking about these wonderful, you know, helping hands, and all I am hearing is hand jobs, and this lovely mother is talking about this beautiful thing, and my ridiculous. I'm sorry. If you were looking for beautiful Emily D. Baker sort of lovingness, that is what her channel is for. This is not that channel.
Yeah, I heard that earlier, and I just, oh God, Mo.
I was just, I'm like, damn it, youngest, most feral. Now that song is ruined too. For love of all that, I love that song too. Damn it. Ah, hand workers of the world unite. All right, I'm
hands
gonna
for
try
long
to.
life, hands that took the oath to help and do no harm. Amy felt those interventions. She felt their touch. She never regained consciousness, but I am positive that she knew people were trying to help her. Her body registered their touch, their good intentions. they could not undo the harm that you inflicted. Then the medical examiner was using his hands and his touch to unlock the causes of her death. His hands, trained to unlock mysteries, trained to laboriously study her body, completed that task. The causes: blunt force trauma, strangulation. Amy was released to an LA funeral home, and those hands of the undertaker prepared her for her journey home to the Philadelphia area. Caring hands. Our local undertaker met her flight and transported her home to Lansdale, Pennsylvania. Their caring hands dressed her. Amy's good friend Gabby called and asked if we would allow her to honor Amy by preparing her for the funeral, doing her makeup and her hair. I know what she likes, Gabby said. It was our honor, Gabby, to have you prepare her for her final public appearance.
Wait,
So Gabby's
was Gabby the one that David thought was very attractive?
I don't know. I don't remember her name. I think I still have her phone number, but that's it.
Sarah Adams is saying yes. Eris is saying I think so. You guys, I am trying to be a semi-moral-ish person. Y'all, I am trying to maintain the very little bit of the saved person-ish that I am. God knows. Never mind.
We're not laughing at her loss. She was an amazing
we're
woman.
not.
It's just
I'm-
we
This
make fun
case
of
could not
tragedy.
This case could not be more ridiculous if you put it on top of a nuclear dumpster fire. And again, it's
And it's
the
just
unfortunate fact.
everything in it, like from the judge who looks like an Austrian painter to David liking a tranny. I'm trying to be good.
This comment, I know we are over here trying to be good people. The unfortunate part is the good part of our brain is not being assisted by the majority part of our brain that is giggling and rolling on the floor like a 12-year-old, unable to rendering assistance because it is laughing so hard it is wheezing.
Gabby's loving hands, hands trained to make people look good to enhance their natural beauty. Prepped Amy. I
Have
don't
you
know
seen
did
how
it,
Gabby
Gabby.
dressed? I don't
Only
think
love
she
for a friend
understood
could have gotten
natural
you through.
beauty.
I know it wasn't
course.
easy. Loving hands, caring hands. And finally, Chris and Carrie and Tom and I were able to see Amy and touch her and tell her how much we loved her. After the funeral services ended, Tom and I attended to Amy. We pulled up the blanket in the coffin and tucked her in one last time. We kissed her and said
Gabby,
goodbye.
I believe.
Our hands, loving hands, caring hands, were the last to touch her. I want to read a very brief poem that just
Thank
seems
you.
to speak of Amy and capture her essence. It's entitled When Death Comes by Mary Oliver.
Well, before she gets to the poem, I think we need to address this. Look, if we didn't look at this with humor, we would have to look at the cold hard truth that this giant douche canoe in human suit decided that because this woman who was strong, independent, and awesome didn't want to date him, he decided to break into her house and unalive her, then throw her out of a 3-story building, and ran away, and then tried to blame it on her.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's called gallows humor. It's not for everyone. And we do try to warn people that we are not everyone's cup of tea. But yes. But before we get to our poem, please God, let it not be Maya Angelou, just for reasons.
When death comes like the hungry bear in autumn, when death comes and takes all the bright coins from his purse to buy me and snaps the purse shut, when death comes like the measles pox, when death comes like an iceberg between the shoulder blades, I want to step through the door full of curiosity, wondering what it's going to be like, that cottage of darkness. And therefore, I look upon everything as a brotherhood and a sisterhood. I look upon time as no more than an idea, and I consider eternity as another possibility. And I think of each life as a flower, as common as a field daisy and as singular, and each name comfortable music in the mouth, tending as all music does towards silence, and each body a lion of courage and something precious to the earth. When it's over, I want to say, all my life I was a bride married to amazement. I was the bridegroom taking the world into my arms. When it's over, I want to wonder if I have made of my life something particular and real. I don't want to find myself sighing and frightened or full of argument. I don't want to end up simply having visited this world. The impact of Amy's death on my life is immeasurable. No words can capture or convey the pain of her loss. But I say, don't worry, Amy. You didn't simply visit this world. Your bright light will shine forever. You said that Amy ruined your life, Gareth Pursehouse, but that's not true. You managed
That
to do it all
could
by
be
yourself.
Eris.
What is true is that you fractured my life. Part of me is buried with my daughter. I fight each and every day to be present for the rest of my family, to engage in life, to try to heal that fracture. Every day is a battle. It's a battle I am determined to win. Thank you to the court. Thank you, Judge Lumelli, for giving me this opportunity to speak today.
Thank you, ma'am.
Next, we have.
I don't think it's so much word salad. They kind of seem like sort of Midwestern people.
Mm.
And, you know, perhaps maybe a little sort of mystified by their daughter wanting to be an adult, you know, film
Therapist and hang out
therapist.
with those people.
Oh, you know, and as much as the Midwest is becoming more open to things and it's not as closed off or closed-minded as, it used to be. I mean, she's still part of the boomer generation.
Yeah, she's still
No
very old.
offense to her. So while she might have been very proud of her daughter, and welcome Luna, it might have been something that she still wasn't, super duper like, hey, my daughter was in Playboy, might not have been in the, annual Christmas card thing. Yeah, Fry does have the zoomies. Like I said, he has two modes, zoomies and nap time. And he really likes, so for me, I got myself one of those. This is completely tangenty. I got myself one of those Greta Van Doomsburg octopuses. Not for the anti-whateverness of it, but it was I just saw them on sale and I was like, I definitely need one of those. Well, of course, if the youngest most feral didn't steal it, it was going to be stolen by the Frybert. So now Frybert is is making sure that we are not ist or phobic. He is making sure to beat the stuffing out of it. That and water bottles.
Chris Harwick.
Sir, use your shoulder.
To the person that took my sister.
Okay. Now, look, I'm just saying, if this man leaps over and just straight clothesline tackles Mr. Harwick, I would be totally okay with it. Now, allegedly in Minecraft, if anything ever happens to my family, despite, Gimpy the peg leg, my left leg, Mo will be training like she is going to do the ninja training course, okay? Now, when my trainer asks me what I am doing agility challenges for, I will not tell him, so he will not be an accessory before the fact
Because you're a good person.
because I'm a
And
good
you don't want
person.
him to stop. And you don't want him to stop you.
Yeah. But I'm just telling y'all, before those bailiffs, and we have seen the bailiff in this case, I mean, I'm gonna
You're gonna
get at least
need Gary
a good
Plochet on his ass.
I am gonna get at least a good, line drive and some mid-center, jujitsu, ninja moves in there. I'm
Yeah.
just saying. Look, none of these victim impact statements, they'll be like, "Ma'am, you look like you have been doing some good workouts." And I'm gonna be like, "Yes, I have."
Thank you
Y'all
for noticing. Hey, reindeer. You're still muted.
but allegedly, I'm just saying, this man has more self-control than I do. I'm just saying I might need bail money if I were ever to have to do this.
My name is Chris Harwick, and I address you today with a heavy heart and a profound sense of loss as I attempt to convey
Oh, okay.
the indescribable impact your actions have had on our lives. The depth of pain, anguish, and devastation that rippled through our family and friends cannot adequately be put into words. Amy was a vibrant, compassionate, and loving individual who brought joy and light to everyone she encountered. She was more than just a sister. She was my friend. An irreplaceable source of inspiration in my life. The void left behind her by her absence is immeasurable. And it is a void that can never be filled. Your heinous act of taking her life has not only robbed us of an incredible human being, but also shattered our sense of security and trust in the world. Every day we grapple with the excruciating pain of knowing that Amy's life was stolen from her and that she will never have the opportunity to fulfill all of her dreams, pursue all of her passions, and contribute to the world in the unique and beautiful ways she was destined to. The trauma inflicted upon our family and friends was as a direct result of your actions cannot be quantified. Not a single day passes without the reminder of Amy's life was unjustly taken away from her. Moreover, your actions have permanently altered the lives of those who loved Amy. Parents loved and raised her up in the world now carry the unbearable burden of outliving their child. A pain that defies comprehension. Friends and family who grew up with her and called her their friend now carry an emptiness that cannot be filled. We all now navigate a world that feels less vibrant without her radiant presence. However, while you took Amy from us physically, her spirit, her love, and her impact on the world will continue to resonate. We will carry her memory in every breath we take. Striving to honor her legacy and ensure that her light continues to shine brightly, even in the darkest of times. Though our hearts may be broken, we will find strength through unity and support from one another. May you come to fully comprehend the magnitude of your actions and the pain they have caused. May you reflect on the profound loss you have inflicted upon our lives and feel remorse for the irreparable damage you have done. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Now, I kind of want to segue a little bit here and kind of go, I know you're going to be shocked, but a little off topic. This is real masculinity. You want to talk about showing emotion, getting up here and, showing your grief. And I know that the parents were very reserved. And I can only speak from personal experience, but sometimes your loss can be so great that you can't process it as soon. And you've got to think they've been doing a court case. I mean, to have to go through the court case, to have to go through all of the medical, I don't know if they were there during the medical examiner, because I think they were there through the entire court case from what the brother was saying. I think he was only there for a couple of days because I remember doing the brother's interview. But I mean, and then there are some people that don't like to show emotion out in public. So
Yeah.
what I will say is that it could be that they have either this might be the first time that he's expressing these emotions. This is the first time that he's had an outlet for this, or that they have already kind of expressed and had these emotions, because when did this happen?
2020, I think, February.
Okay, so this has been several years. So it might be that they just have not processed it, you know, and or it's so big and they've just had to relieve again with all of the medical stuff. So it has been 3 years or more, but I will say that it takes, look, 15 years, can seem like 2 weeks.
Hmm.
It you can it might be that it might not hit them until after the sentencing because they feel like they've had to, you know, do everything. Yeah, what I'm saying is they might have been holding it off until they feel like they've gotten justice, and then everything's gonna hit them.
Yeah.
She does seem they seem incredibly soft-spoken and very kind of just mild-mannered, so I couldn't imagine going through a court trial. I don't know how Dan Markel's mom has gone through 3 and now probably 4, and now Donna's asking for a psych eval 'cause she,
At
being
home.
with the 4s hurts her feelings. Gotta read that too.
I feel like I'm in a concentration camp.
Oh my god, she's such a
Hello, good morning, Your Honor.
Is that her?
Over the past 3.5 years, I've tried my hardest to collect my thoughts on the impact of Amy's loss and what I would say if given the chance. To this day, my emotions, thoughts, and words still escape me. There is still a part of me in disbelief that this experience that has occurred and is just an awful nightmare that we will all wake up from. However, that's not the case. There's nothing that she and I didn't
I believe
share.
that's one of her
There was
good
no
friends.
argument too big that we couldn't overcome or sort through. She was the person that I felt closest to in my life, no matter how far we were from each other. We shared so many milestones, so many things about relationships. We took many outings to places both strange and wonderful, and experienced several graduations together and family events. I even had the great fortune and honor to be her maid of honor at her wedding. She was the person that I went to with all of life's ups and downs. Through our friendship, she taught me closeness, honesty, the difficulties and benefits of change, and empowering each other to pursue our dreams through perseverance. There were so many years worth of inside jokes and memories. And because of this horror,
Insect jokes?
half of
Oh,
those
inside.
experiences are gone because she's gone. We knew each other at our core. We used to joke that we lived parallel timelines on different coasts. She was my west and I was her east. The loss of Amy affected every part of my life. My emotional safety, my relationships, my ability to communicate effectively, my sense of direction, meaning, and purpose. I experienced a deep level of emotional alienation from the impact after her loss. I had to seek a more intensive care of management of traumatic feelings, debilitating depression and anxiety, traumatic grief from her loss. I needed to try to operate with a high level of management and repressions of my emotions to prevent any impact of my therapeutic practice with my clients. The level of suffering experienced has been exponential. The level of compartmentalization that is needed to operate on a day-to-day basis still compounds how I process her grief. I miss the joy of experiencing each other through many iterations of ourselves and the fact that there were so many more that I wish we could experience. It is very painfully distressing. I lost the person who truly knew me the best, who I shared the deepest parts of myself with. The depth of that connection is irreplaceable. And I now have a level of understanding of complete and utter pain that I do not wish on any other human being in this world. Ultimately, my heart aches for people who loved Amy the most as they suffer her loss continuously. I'm sorry the world has lost an advocate, a daughter, a sister, an aunt, a niece, a partner, a friend, a voice for the voiceless, a great empathetic healer, and for me, my most authentic kindred spirit.
That is a good question. I, as a casual observer, not a psychiatrist, a psychologist, and just a mouthy redhead who pops off on the internet and makes inappropriate jokes, I would say that you would probably need to step back, if at all possible, from counseling other people at this time.
Yeah.
Just as a casual observer, and no judgment
No.
at all.
Yeah.
It just seems like Sal, are you picking up from your mic, or are you picking up from your computer? Because you're
What do you mean?
oh, it just sounds like you're copying something from a Xerox machine.
Is it really?
Yeah, I was wondering if maybe you were trying to print something out on your printer.
No.
So I was like,
Does it still sound that way?
no, now it doesn't.
Okay.
Okay.
I turned my mic off to sneeze. Maybe I didn't get there in time.
I thought this was her friend, not her sister.
No, it's her friend. But like,
Well,
we're not being harsh in it.
no, but
She's a therapist, so
what I am saying is, as someone who has lost someone, I don't think that I would have been in any position to have been giving counsel to anyone.
Yeah.
You're messed up. So I don't know that you could be helpful at the same time. I mean, it seems like it deeply affects her, and she's deeply in a state of mourning. Now, again, maybe she has all the tools to be able to recognize that in herself and compartmentalize that in herself. Like I said, as a casual observer and someone who has, again, no training, what I will say is it looks like this has deeply affected her, and I do wonder if that would be something upsetting to her to continue to counsel, or if she maybe would have to pick different things that she would counsel people on. But, maybe counselors know what they can and can't do and have different, sort of tools to keep them separated, kind of their feelings. Like I said, as a two-time college not graduate, I do not know these things. And that is very true. That is very possible. Thank you for that. Mini Me 67. I just wonder if it would be very hard. I know for me, I don't think I would have been in a good place to help other people, but I also didn't have advanced training, so I probably wouldn't have known the signs of how to help myself either. So let's continue to hear her.
Nothing in this or any lifetime would be able to replace the level of gratitude, information, education,
You are
expansiveness, and
correct,
connection
Pixie.
that I had within this friendship. It was truly a once-in-a-lifetime connection. The pain and suffering experienced someone I love being victimized and murdered so viciously, being torn down not only in life, but in her murdering, but by her murder, but in her death. The emotional traumatization of how at times she was portrayed in her life was disparaging to watch. With her loss being so brutally traumatic in and of itself, it is continuously disturbing that it must serve as a reminder to people who have been through abuse and who live in perpetual fear of another person. The choice that was made to take her vibrant life took so many people's ability to heal away. It has made an enduring impact across an entire community. And while the choice that was made was so detrimental, not just to family, friends, and loved ones, but to other human beings who have suffered in pain and now have no opportunity of having the benefit and wellness of all of the things that she had learned and that she was applying to the community and the world around her. I will continue to struggle to contemplate how to grasp the bond that has been severed. The grief surrounding the loss of Amy is something I will spend the rest of my life trying to figure out how to manage. So, in my humble request, I hope the sentence that is handed down is reflective of just that, a lifetime. Thank you.
Thank you.
Robert Costin.
Amy Harwick left an indelible imprint on this world. She was a shining star, and she rose above every challenge. She made a fabulous life for herself, and she did this all on her own through perseverance, hard work, her determination, and force of will. Amy was magical. She had a charm that impressed everyone that met her, and she provided warm comfort to her friends, her family, her coworkers, her clients, and even people she just met casually. People like Amy are one in a million. She followed her own path, and she accomplished more in her short life than most people could ever hope to accomplish in theirs. Her absence casts a long shadow over all of us. Yet still she's here with us, consoling us in our grief, advising us to live our lives to the fullest, and cheering on our triumphs that are yet to be ahead. There's some satisfaction that her killer will receive little comforts in his days ahead, but this is still no solace for the people that knew her and loved her. Amy, in all her magnificence, is gone. Even when we leave this courtroom and when he's locked away, there will not be closure. Justice will have been served, but her family, her friends, for me, the scar of her loss will haunt us to our last days. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Please stand.
Okay, I'm gonna pause, and this is in no way to be any mean, but I love her wing eyeliner, and I wish my winged eyeliner would look like hers. Mine look like very distant cousins. Hers are identical twins. Mine are not even in the same family tree, to be honest. when I attempt to do it myself. So kudos on her. I just wanted to say, ma'am, you have your eyeliner on point and you are ready to cut a sir down. So let's get to it.
Narcissist, spineless, small.
Good. Finally,
Bring the
somebody needs
petty.
to
Some of the
start.
nicer
Somebody
words
needs to start making
I
fun
would
of him.
use to describe Gareth Pursehouse. The kind of person who would make a plan to terrorize and kill a beautiful, innocent woman in the prime of her life. Someone half his physical size. It wasn't even slightly a fair fight,
4 times now.
all because he couldn't have her. Dr. Amy Harwick. She was every ounce as impressive as she came across. Amy spent years of her life.
No one. I was saying that her eyeliner is on point. I am jealous. She looks ready to cut Gareth up. I am here for it. She has all the petty. I am here for it. I am waiting for someone to make fun
I
of
know.
Gareth.
Seriously. They barely mentioned
Everyone
him.
else has been, very nice and kind and good, and she looks like she is here to speak some petty, and I am down for it.
Yeah, I think it was the Bradley Young sentencing where they just made fun of him. And I think one guy said he had a small piece and other prisoners were going to be disappointed and
Ooh,
just humiliated him.
I need to watch that tonight then. Mr. Mo is not going to be excited with my particular contribution to date night watch.
Life putting herself through school, ultimately obtaining her doctorate. All she wanted to do was help people, especially women. She
Or-
guided victims of domestic
Right.
abuse with such care and compassion, all while maintaining perfect professionalism, her clients never knowing just how deeply she understood their struggles. She was the kind of person who, no matter how much she had going on, and she always had a lot going on, would make time for the people she cared about. I don't think there was one time in 14 years that she ever left me hanging. She was a rare breed, and her losses felt every day. February 15th used to be my birthday.
Oof.
Oh,
Now it's the anniversary of one of the worst days of mine and so many others' lives.
Oh, God, dude.
I learned what it feels like to black out from grief that day.
oh,
That's the day I lost one of my favorite people in the whole world. The kindest, most vibrant woman you'll ever meet died alone, scared and in pain. Your home is supposed to be your safe space. You hear stories about bad people breaking in and lying in wait, and it's every girl's worst nightmare. As a child, you're scared of the monsters hiding under your bed. But somehow you grow up and convince yourself that these things will never happen to you or anyone you know. That is no longer the reality for so many of us. We install cameras and check the closets before going to bed. We have all been forced to look at our loved ones and ex-loved ones a little more closely. Our trust shattered. Because the boogeyman is real. And he's someone that I used to share laughs and late night apple pie with. He had hours to change.
Well, when they were together, I'm sure that if they were best friends or they were good friends, she probably hung out with Gareth.
Oh, yeah, but I don't think he ever made anyone laugh.
Yeah, but you know what? I mean,
Maybe a pity laugh.
kudos to this woman. I can't imagine how hard it would be to have to
Be
get
around
up
that.
here to not only, put on your big girl panties, put on your awesome eyeliner, stand up for your friend, knowing that you have to see this man who did all of this awful stuff to your friend go up on national television and read this and know that even though you're going to say all these things and you're going to do all these things, your friend's not coming back,
Yeah.
unfortunately. I mean, but maybe your story, maybe saying this, maybe, you know, maybe someone watching this trial will see some of the signs in their significant other and get away. Look,
Hopefully.
if there are red flags, and for real, guys, as much as we clown around, and as much as we are irreverent 12-year-olds that would make, Louis Black and George Carlin blush, if you see red flags, if you are with someone that hurts you, that belittles you, that is unkind to you, that makes you feel less than, make a plan. Be safe. Get out. You
Yeah.
are worth more than that. Do that. As much as we joke around, you know, I know, look, y'all know how I feel about California's Second Amendment issue. But maybe this story will help someone else. In her short life, Dr. Amy Harwick, according to her friend, according to a lot of the people that have spoken up today, did help a lot of people.
Yeah.
So let's let this woman continue, but I did want to put that out there.
Changed his mind while he waited in the dark for Amy to come home. He could have backed out at any moment, but he chose to carry out his sick plan. He sat there and texted girls that he was romantically pursuing, making out like he was busy running errands.
Oh, he was texting other girls when he was
Murdering my
there?
best friend of 14 years was little more than an errand to him.
Flip's sake.
He had years to move on, to better himself, but he chose to do the opposite. He harassed, stalked, and ultimately killed Amy. A couple of years behind bars will not magically fix him. Nothing we do will bring Amy back, but the only semblance of peace we hope to have moving forward is to know that this coward will never be able to hurt another woman again. Thank you.
Rudy Torres.
No, I think, she touched a lot of lives, and I think that was awesome. And I think
Yeah.
sometimes we're unaware of how many lives we touch.
Please don't tell me he's related to Gareth.
I wasn't really sure what I was going to say coming up here. I was looking over the guidelines and I just kind of got stuck on the how do you feel? I haven't really gave it much thought. The last few years I've been in and out of this courtroom with just about every procedural minutia, every hearing to make sure that this man is held accountable. The entire time I've been more focused on how other people feel. The people that can't walk in this whole courtroom. The people whose personal triggers just won't let them walk in here. The people that can't be here. I've been in and out of this courtroom, sitting back here, make sure this man never feels enough comfort to look over his shoulder and not know that somebody is here for him.
Yeah, Rain. Pause.
Broken.
Okay, one sec.
Rain, dear, I don't know what the guidelines are, but I'm sure that, that was the thing with the Cruz sentencing that was really, really inappropriate that the judge let go, is the victims were able to specifically attack the lawyers and even brought up the lawyers' kids. It was incredibly inappropriate. Every area is different, but there are certain guidelines on what you're supposed to talk about. So,
Yeah, and I believe that the judge, so what was I thinking? There was one particular case where the judge had to remind the family that you are addressing the court and not the victim, or
that
not
was
the perpetrator.
the other day. What was that? It was like,
It was a fairly recent
yeah,
case.
the other day, I think.
So typically, from what I've seen, and like I said, I am not a lawful law lawyer. Typically, you are supposed to address the court. You are not supposed to be talking directly to the perpetrator. Look, our ad hominem attacks on, greasy hair and, need of conditioner are not generally allowed. But you are petitioning the court and trying to sway them in what you believe the sentence should be.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that, yeah, I believe that judge did retire, but reindeer, yes. Okay.
She retired before she got in trouble, basically.
Well, yeah. Now, to be fair, on the cruise, the defense in the cruise trial, the one with the curly hair, she was about as unprofessional as could be. So I could see where some of the parents might be a little
Sure.
miffed with some of them. But let's continue, because the youngest, most feral is like, "Are you still doing stuff? You guys just talk forever. You are so boring. Mr. Beast does elephant toothpaste. What are you guys doing?"
My friend was a beacon of light, and while she may have been dimmed, her legacy will shine on. This man needs to be held accountable. He needs to be punished to the fullest extent of the law. Abusers like him get passed for way too long before they get it, before they end up here. He needs to be made an example of. That this type of behavior is not acceptable. My friend is gone. I'm pretty chatty for an introvert, so I don't really have too many friends. So the few that I have mean the world to me. She's gone. Nothing's going to change that. I just miss her. I'll never get that long-winded phone call of her explaining what she needs help with.
This guy reminds me
The
of me
answer's
when I
always-
finally find a friend.
Oh no, 20 years, the answer's always been yes, but she's still.
This actually kind of hurts me.
I never get that call again.
I mean,
In my
as
darkest
a
hour, she was there. She listened to me. I hope that
This is me if something ever happens to you, Mo.
I was a good friend.
same
Yeah. You're like
twin
my one
power.
friend.
This man needs to be held accountable.
Well, I promise never to date Gareth
Ellie,
Pursehouse.
Thank
So,
you. Oh, fuck. I'm actually tearing up here. Jeez.
well, that's
What the
the
hell?
thing is, well, it is because we don't always. It's hard for introverts when we finally do open up, and then we have these like verbal vomits, and you're like, "I
Yeah.
thought you said you were introverted." You're like, "I was until I met you, and now I
Yeah.
just can't stop talking." Or like,
Yeah.
we're on, the chat line.
Yeah.
People are like, "Get a room." We're twins. It was a secret government experiment. We don't know how it happened.
Morning, Your Honor.
Good morning.
Needless to say, I had a very different letter drafted until District Attorney Avila explained to me that the purpose of speaking today is to convey Amy's character. And to share how this horrific crime has affected us. I had a lot of words for you, Gareth Pursehouse, but I will hold them today.
Too bad.
It feels truly perverse to focus on my pain. But I understand that doing so can help the court grasp the catastrophic impact this murder has had on all of us. So I'm going to do my best to briefly express that. Amy was smart, kind, and filled with electricity. She loved cannolis, coupons, and her cat Marquis.
What?
She was perpetually curious about life, the future, and the complexities of human behavior. She really liked to help those she kept close, empowering and employing her friends and connecting women in her field.
One time, JD.
She also liked to help people she didn't know, volunteering her time and therapeutic expertise to help the most stigmatized members of society access life-saving mental health care. Aside from being a thoughtful friend, she helped keep me safe. About a year before her murder, I had a frightening encounter with an ex at my home. My first instinct was to call Amy. She told me to pack my bags and come over immediately. So I did. I stayed with her for about 2 weeks, often sleeping in the same bed because we were both too scared to sleep alone. She was more afraid than I was. Now I understand why. Sometimes I still catch myself daydreaming about the other ending. The one where she's the hero. But no matter how much I bargain or try to negotiate reality, I can't break this spell. I can't bring her back. I really hate that. After the police had collected all the evidence from her home, it was turned over to her family as is. Fearing her parents would see the aftermath of her murder, myself, along with her friend Dolores, cleaned up the devastation that was left behind. What could be cleaned, at least. I'm grateful I was able to do this for Amy. I'm very grateful. I'm also traumatized from what I saw, sensed and experienced firsthand in her home. Since then, I've dealt with anxiety, night terrors, and complex post-traumatic stress disorder. Like Grace, I check the showers and the closets. I can't fully express what the experience took from me, but I know no mother or father should ever see what we saw, and I thought they never would have to. But because this case went to trial, her family and friends have had to endure footage of the crime scene, along with the horrific morgue photos, autopsy photos, and infuriating body cam footage.
Well, she's right there. It was
Has been
infuriating.
commodified
Do you remember
and
what those
screened
cops
for public
did?
consumption.
Oh, well, I remember they got sidetracked on the freaking cabinet full of dildos.
Well, and then the guy screaming at them she needs help. She needs help. We need to get in
And they're
there.
all
Calm
standing
down,
there.
sir. Sir, calm down. How did you get out of the house now? And then they go and finally get in and see her gasping for air.
And they're like, yeah, she's there. I mean, believe.
They were
For the love of-
yelling at him like, calm down, sir.
Well, that and then the defense attorney was like, well, why didn't you just pick her up and run her to the truck? And I'm like, because her inside. Never mind.
Left out in the open to be critiqued and corrected. The after effects are colossal and impossible to quantify, let alone cram inside of these words. But mostly my loss is Amy's loss. Her life and all the magical things she had left to create were stolen from her when she was murdered by a man that stalked her for a decade. She was taunted, tormented, and terrified for years. Her death is not karma. It's not kismet. She should be here on Earth with us, but instead we're all stuck in an uncanny valley trying to process the impossible. Making sense out of the senseless is a task akin to shoveling oneself out of an ocean. Your Honor, I ask that Gareth Pursehouse receive life in prison without the possibility of parole. Thank you.
Okay, you guys, there is no greater legacy that I think Amy left on this earth than this woman right here.
Yeah.
This woman that she reached out to, this population that, nobody would really touch. I mean, adult performers. She helps with mental health. She invited her into her home when she was scared of her ex, knowing that she was scared of her ex.
No, she put herself at risk, quite frankly.
Yeah. And, people are so quick to label, oh, well, she's an adult performer. She must be dumb. She must, I know we
No,
joked about daddy issues,
Yeah.
but, a woman that would, go and clean up a crime scene would
Or
go
her parents.
make sure so
protect
that the
her parents.
parents wouldn't have to deal with it, would stand up and fight for her friend's legacy and speak so eloquently and beautifully and, with such grace and dignity. And some people might only see that, but Amy saw more.
She saw a
And
person,
you know what?
a human being.
Yeah. And so Amy saw a human being and she gave her the help she needed when she needed it. And if Amy only touched one life, which, by all the people that stood up,
Clearly not.
clearly not, but I can really say honestly, there's no greater legacy than this woman. And I'm sad to say I don't even know this woman's name.
Yeah.
People are people, no matter how small. Dr. Seuss was right.
Thank you, Mayor. The last person that will.
And Mr. Purple Glasses, I don't know who you are, but I don't like feelings, so let's focus on purple glasses.
Is this her?
Tried to edit this down to
No.
not be as long so we can get through
No,
this
her
and
voice
then
was different.
start.
No, but I love your teal hair, ma'am.
Amy was a powerful force in this world. She was beautiful, thoughtful, vibrant, intelligent, hilarious, quirky, neurotic at times, driven, motivated, altruistic, and compassionate.
Both Sal and I becoming blubbery.
Yeah.
We passed each other Life Day gifts. We're getting matching tattoos, Thelma and Louise style. We got
Yeah,
all
I
the feels.
don't have to actually face emotion right now.
We'll do it later. We compartmentalize.
Yeah. I'll just, put it away, ignore it like I normally do.
But I really, really, really love her teal hair. I mean,
Yeah, I do like
if it
it.
would dry my hair, I'm just saying I would do it. yesterday.
No words can really express her character or her heart. You just had to know her to experience her light. You wouldn't know it from looking at her
Mini.
from the
Have a
outside, but Amy lived in
excuse me. Have a wonderful evening, Mini Me 67. Thank you for joining us. And thank you for giving us a chance. I don't think I've seen you in chat, so I know we're not everyone's cup of tea. We tend to be a little irreverent, so thank you for giving us a
Yeah.
chance.
This is about the most emotional we've ever been, I think.
I know. All the feelings. It's weird.
It is. I'm like, what the hell's happening to
Have
me?
we become a Hallmark channel?
Yeah.
You know, it might be a really nice one.
The roommate could play her like gay best friend that tries to protect her in a Hallmark movie. Because
Can we
there's
just
always
let
like,
the blonde go smack Gareth prison purse just real hard, just for once?
in fear for the last almost 10 years of her life. This wasn't just one night of terror for Amy. This was almost 10 years of trauma, much of which we did not hear about in court. We barely scratched the surface of the trauma she endured due to the actions of Gareth Pursehouse. Amy, her family, and her close friends who were acquainted with Gareth lived in terror along with Amy. Her pain was our pain. Her fear was our fear. He mentally and physically abused her, stalked her, hacked her accounts, tried to alienate her from her dearest friends, posted revenge photos of her, commented horrible things about her on the internet, and tried to ruin her
did
career.
revenge photos.
After all that he did, he then tried to rekindle a relationship with her, saying he loved her. The audacity, Gareth.
Aw.
For him to believe that Amy would want to rekindle their relationship after all he put her through showed me just how clueless, delusional, apathetic, and unapologetic he was for the pain and difficulties he caused her. When all he did to try to hurt her life and career, he failed to keep Amy down. She made lemonade out of lemons, and when she rebuffed his advances after the award show, he couldn't take it. He lacks remorse for her murder and for the trauma he put her through the past 10 years. The only reason she was kind to him when she saw him at the XBiz event was partly because she was a kind and compassionate human being, but mainly out of fear. Fear of what he would do if she inadvertently said the wrong thing to him. 10 years later, she was still living in fear. This man felt entitled to have Amy in his life, and when she very kindly said no thank you, and the kindest no thank you I've ever heard anybody give, he couldn't just walk away like a real man. He took it upon himself to take her life. If I can't have you, no one can.
Oh, I didn't know he hacked her
This
computer.
man, who self-professed
What
loved
a
her,
douche.
terrorized her,
Probably
and
had her
her into
password
blood.
from when they were
And
dating.
then after murdering her, he
but-
decides to not admit his wrongdoing, but instead take it to court to put her family and friends through a very long, painful, and arduous trial. Zero remorse, zero compassion, zero accountability. I suffer from depression. This has been my toughest time. He took Amy, my voice of reason, when I feel I can't continue on.
Oh, I didn't know that
This
stuff.
man took my friend of 20 years, my confidant, my partner in our great times and our lowest times, my cheerleader, my inspiration. He took our inside jokes. He took
I
our
just realized this. I can't believe with my ADHD and not wanting to pay attention to emotions, but all the women have been wearing matte red lipstick.
Oh. Yeah,
Or-
because in her like photo
Yeah.
shoots and everything, that's for her.
It was her signature,
Yeah. Okay.
and I love that.
I do. Yeah.
took our annual themed birthday parties. He took our future collaborations. He took our future memories, our future tears of joy and
Dennis,
sadness.
that is
He
a
took our future
freaking
travels,
lie.
our adventures. He took our late night calls and random texts. He took our pajama parties. He took the breakthrough moments of healing of those she would have helped through her humanitarian work. He took the change she would have continued making for her, myself, and those around her. He took us sitting in rocking chairs in our old age listening to Depeche Mode while sipping tea. He took infinitely more than I can describe here with words. He took a beautiful light. She spent a quarter of her life living in fear.
Jeez.
Nobody should have to live that way except for him. He deserves to live in fear. He deserves to have to look over his shoulder every day and wonder if that'll be his last. Based on his lack of remorse, lack of empathy, and vindictive nature, I fear for my safety and the safety of those she loves. I plead for the court to please give him the maximum sentence allowed, not only for my safety or her loved one's safety, but for the safety of the general public. Please give Amy justice and those she left behind some peace of mind. Gareth, I went with Gabby to the funeral home to do Amy's makeup, and I got to see her
before all the makeup was applied, before she was made to look viewable for the public. And that was the day that I decided that I could not forgive you. Because I'm a very forgiving person. I can forgive everybody. I forgave my father's murderer, but seeing her that way,
Your father's
and
murder?
how she fought for her life, there was
Wait,
no
Mo?
forgiveness for you. To quote Jeff Buckley, she's a tear that hangs inside
Did you
my
say her
soul.
father's murder? Can you go back like 15 seconds?
Is it K or J?
Left arrow button.
Ah, well, that's smart.
There you go.
Forever. Thank you, Your Honor, for your time.
Oh,
and for allowing
Wait,
me
even
to
forward.
hear that hangs no forgive her.
No.
I'm a very forgiving person. I can
There.
forgive. Yeah, I forgave my father's murderer, but seeing her that
Your
way,
father's murderer.
So she's had trauma after trauma after trauma. I mean, in her
Jesus
life.
Christ.
And you know what? You don't have to forgive him. I mean,
I don't know why
look,
you did, but
no, I mean, your father's murderer. Look, seriously, y'all. It took me 15 years to forgive my first husband because look, this is fake red hair, but I swear to you, I have not done 23andMe, but I think I am 100% Scottish, and we have not even forgiven. We'll forgive the
the
English,
Vikings.
and yeah, we'll forgive them, the next century when that's a millennia away.
Yeah, this is why Mo doesn't like streaming with Nick.
Just kidding. No, it's just forgiveness is something that you have to do for yourself, and
Yes.
it's also not something that is performative. It's not something.
No.
It's something that you have
Be
to
real.
do for you when it's okay for you, and Gareth is a giant. He's a boil on the taint of humanity that needs to be lanced.
Moist tank.
So yes. So honestly, she's a strong lady, and maybe one day for her own, self, she'll be able to forgive him, but he doesn't need to know that.
I haven't even forgiven him for the jokes he made.
No one forgives him
Those
for the
crushed my
jokes he
soul.
made.
That was devastating to me.
Those were a crime against humanity.
Seriously, you should
Those
genocide.
were Salbert. Those were at least, a Geneva Convention violation.
and how she fought for her life, there was no forgiveness for you. To quote Jeff Buckley, she's a tear that hangs inside my soul forever. Thank you, Your Honor, for your time and for allowing me to speak to the court today.
Look how she won't even look at him, because she would.
Lastly, Your Honor,
This woman would line drive tackle him. I could see her thinking about it. She's like, if I look at him, she's like, I will take my earrings off and I'm gonna line drive tackle him.
read a statement from Michael Thurman. He is one of the victims.
I would tell
named
the bailiff
murderer.
to stand between us.
It is really difficult for me to talk about how I'm affected when it was someone else that died while I lived. It feels ungrateful, like I should just be grateful to be alive.
I believe this is the
That's enough.
roommate.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Even
She had many
start.
Christmas
Gareth Pursehouse
room
just taking
freaking
his life, he completely
Can you pause it?
holy.
Seriously, is the camera run by a Snake app or something, like the game Snake, where it's run over the screen in lines?
I don't know, but state's attorney is about ready to pop. She is like, I am in this. She is like, dude better get sentenced or I'm about to throw some
Oh,
spadoinkle.
I can't wait for Pursehouse's argument.
He's probably not going to say a damn thing. He's a coward. He's going to be
No,
like,
but she made me sad.
I'm so sorry. I wouldn't know that.
Sorry, my Tinder date was cute, but she wasn't
Oh.
that cute.
She was pregnant during that. I was wondering how big she was gonna be when no offense to her, ma'am, I have been pregnant 6 times. I understand how you feel. You look beautiful and elegant, and it is all in your belly. I never had that. I kind of just all over, but, you know, let's continue.
I should probably start by saying how much I enjoyed life before this happened, and so did Amy. I was just really happy with where my life was, and so was she. Things were really
She is texting
well
away
for both of
too.
us after some difficult
She
times. Nearly 4 years later, I
and
still
she will
haven't
not
reached
even look at
50% of
Gareth
where I was
either. She's
before this
like, "If I
happened,
look at
as
him,
far
I
as
will
being
go
happy with my life
directly
and
into
success.
labor."
She was
I
just
was
trying. Maybe
fortunate
she was
enough for
texting
this
her
to
boyfriend.
happen right before the COVID pandemic shut everything down. My ability to access any kind of mental health services
Wait, this is
was
Garrett's
practically
statement?
non-existent. And finding
No, I believe this is the roommate.
Oh, okay. Okay.
a therapist who was equipped enough to even consider treating my level of trauma was impossible. I spent quarantine and the better part of the entire year trapped in my head, alone with my thoughts.
Eris, point of order, fact not in evidence. Heifer was typing
Amy,
on her
I was
phone.
just really happy
Oh,
with
yeah.
where my life was.
Look at
and
that.
so
That's
was she.
typing.
Things were really well for both of us after some difficult times.
I brought the
Nearly
recipients.
4 years later, and I still haven't reached 50% of where I was before this happened, as far as being happy with my life and success. I was unfortunate enough for this to
Oh boy,
happen
do I
right
know
before
that
the
struggle.
COVID pandemic shut everything down. My ability to access any
She's
kind of
like,
mental
I just
health
have to
services
pee.
was practically
It's like an 80-year-old man
non-existent.
with his prostate.
Finding a therapist who was equipped enough to even consider treating my level
Joe
of trauma
Biden.
was impossible. I spent quarantine and the better part of the entire year trapped in my head, alone with my
Yeah,
thoughts.
well, welcome to the
At least
club.
around 9 to 10 hours a day, replaying that night in my head, unable to stop picturing what he was doing to Amy when I heard the silence.
Oh, this is the
This-
girl that
yeah,
went
this-
to his
Searching
comedy
out
show.
or piecing together what happened.
No, this is the
and realizing
poor
the absolute
roommate.
horror
No.
that Amy went through while I was trying to get help. All of this compounded my anxieties. For 6 months, whenever I tried to
Uh-oh.
sleep, all I could think about was Amy trying to breathe. That awful
Austrian
sound
painter
that
judge
constantly
won't like that.
scared. I really didn't sleep much at all the first 9 months. At times, I debated checking myself into a hospital because I was so delirious from pacing around and not sleeping. There were times when I would pace around 24 to 36 hours until exhaustion took over enough for me to rest. I remember my legs aching from pacing around, my mind replaying over and over what happened to Amy. I paced so much that I
Jury
lost
controversy?
toenails on each of my feet. My psychiatrist told me that as soon as this happened,
Hey,
it
pause.
probably
Okay, one
changed me
second.
as a person.
Nick, are
Um,
you doing? When is your Young Thug stream? Love to know what's going on. But yeah, I'm
Have
sorry.
they decided that the trial is ridiculous and
Have
that
they
the
lost another juror? They're down to 5 already.
6 p.m. Oh,
Okay, an hour.
Jesus. They're like, Mo, I know that you were given jury duty for, Indiana, but you've suddenly been roped into Georgia.
I mean,
The hell?
they thought it was a good idea to only have 6 alternates
Oh my gosh.
for a
Well-
trial that's going to go a year. And on the second day, one of the jurors was in the hospital
Oh, good Lord.
and already stricken.
Oh no.
So they're down to 5.
And hey, ya Farrell. All right, so right now they are reading a letter from the roommate, and obviously he is just I can't imagine the trauma of probably every night trying to relive and thinking how he could have saved her.
Oh, God,
Honest
yeah.
to God, he couldn't know what was going on. I mean,
That poor guy was
hindsight
yelling
is-
at the police to go do something. Go help her. Sir,
Yeah.
calm down. Sir, stop getting so emotional.
Well, that and the dispatchers, if you have ever listened to a 911 dispatcher, half the time you are like, they are more antisocial than I am. I'm like, do you people?
My family noted this change in my personality immediately, before even knowing about what happened. It was significant and obvious a change to them, one they picked up instantly. This is incredibly difficult for me because it's so hard to even look at what's happened and how it has affected me without feeling guilty for surviving. My psychiatrist said that these things take 9 to 10 years to recover from. And I remember exhaling and saying, I can't feel like this for 9 to 10 years. 9 to 10 years, I'll kill myself. I can tell you that it has affected my whole world, even nearly 4 years later. In the time since what happened, I have spent tens of thousands of dollars on psychiatric help for my depression and PTSD diagnosis that was a result of that night. I will likely be in therapy and psychiatry trying to recover from this trauma for the rest of my life. I'm self-employed, and it's no small miracle I was able to hold on to my business after Amy's murder. I lost clients, I lost business, and I lost some really big deals. Financially, there was a significant toll as a result of my.
All right, we are not laughing at his pain and suffering. We are laughing at the fact that his business is as a wholesale dildo distributor. So it's, or I'm sorry, adult toy and paraphernalia distributor. So it's hard to keep a straight face when you're like,
You almost
I mean,
lost. What would the adult entertainment industry do? There could have been the great dildo shortage of 2023.
we were all locked in our houses. What were we gonna do without, personal lubricants?
Oh, thank God now I can ignore the trauma and pain and emotion.
I'm glad we found something that we could focus on instead of feelings.
Oh, God.
Note to people, this is not a good way to deal with feelings. I'm sure that therapists would tell you that dealing with feelings is a good way to deal with them, not thinking about dildo distribution. But there you go.
Well, I mean, what is the chain of custody for those? When they take
So
them into
what?
custody that night? This could be potential evidence.
I don't know. look, I'm
No,
not
that's my inventory.
I mean, okay, let's go back to this poor man because he's upset. But again, I do not laugh because of his pain and suffering. I just laugh because his business was that of adult paraphernalia distribution, a la Jack Murphy, who might have been his biggest customer, allegedly.
My
Oh, God, you
traumatized
broke
mental
me.
health state. Fortunately, I have landed with my family and was still able to support myself, but my thoughts were constantly intruded upon by that night. Every single
I
minute
went
of
into
every
the love
day at
doll
first,
business.
I couldn't get that night out of my head. Then you get a few more free minutes each day. It was so difficult to keep business afloat. I already work a lot of hours, but I had to work 78 hours a week just to accomplish 40 hours of work a week because of how I preoccupied my mind was. Part of what was the way to take my mind off was work. The events of the night turned my life upside down in every way. I've lost relationships because of the way that this has affected me. I avoided social media for 3 years because of Amy's murder.
He really
I didn't want
delved
any
into the
part of it.
latest
I just
dildo
wanted to check
selection
out.
for 2022.
This was all during quarantine, so I couldn't even escape the social media like most everyone else was when in
I'm
isolation.
sorry.
I was trapped in my head the entire time. I didn't want anything to do with society. I was really withdrawn, and I was content thinking that I would be isolated from society for the rest of my life. It has
I'll just be
affected
with
me
my
physically.
dildos.
I experienced all weird things you don't hear about with PTSD. You feel different, and then you realize you've lost some of your empathy. I began to experience sleep paralysis so regularly that it happened nightly for weeks. Even now, nearly 4 years later, my partner regularly
Do we have the line to 911 in Arizona? Just asking for a friend. You cannot eat ornaments. No, you're covered in glitter. You look like a stripper.
When I hear
Stop.
something, it triggers me.
Not that
After
there's
Amy's
anything wrong
murder,
with
when Gareth
stripping,
Pursehouse was
but
out on bail, I was worried about him coming after me. Once he was back in custody, I was worried about what he would do if he were to somehow be found not guilty. Now I worry about him getting out of prison one day. The thought of him ever getting out of prison terrifies me, especially after seeing just how selfish and calculating Gareth is, how he will never admit or accept responsibility for what he's done, and how he's always
No,
going
you
to claim
cannot
to be
have
the
an
victim.
ornament.
I know that if he even gets out of prison, he's going to blame me for his failure to get away with what he did to Amy. He's not going to take responsibility for anything he's done, ever. He doesn't care one bit about what he's done or how his decisions affected other people. I know that people's lives were damaged far worse than mine. A life was lost, a daughter was lost, a family was irreparably harmed. I had only known Amy for 6 months. Amy was loved and respected by so many people who are also deeply affected
Not
by
the
the
work
tragic
love.
loss of such an incredible and intelligent woman who is dedicating her life to helping other women escape abusive relationships like the one Gareth Pursehouse that she had survived years before. It's impossible to calculate how many lives her death has impacted further, or how many others she could have helped had she been allowed to live out the rest of her life peacefully. But if this helps you when considering his sentencing, I can tell you that life was good before this happened for a lot of us, for me, for Amy, and for many others. She was happy, excited about where her life was going, and really believing that she was on track for where she wanted to be. Even knowing her the short time I did, I could see what an accomplished, glowing person she was, inside and out. It is a tragedy that her work and excitement and verve for life were cut short. I've seen friendships ripped apart in the wake of Amy's murder. Amy was the glue that held a lot of these friendships together. I watched them fall apart in her absence. It is so difficult to sit here and put into words how this has affected me when her death has affected countless others. I have this special mix of survivor's guilt and emotional trauma. I'm a bundle of damaged goods where I'm just trying to recover from being so screwed up in the head from this. I was always pretty resilient
Which
and
head?
seen my fair share of life's difficulties, but this by far has been the most difficult and damaging experience of my life. I pray for the peace of knowing that Gareth Pursehouse will never get out of prison. I pray for that peace for myself, for Amy's parents, and for all who love her. I pray for that peace and justice for Amy.
Let me ask,
I would like to take a moment to thank you, beautiful, glorious, crazy diamonds in chat. You are my crazy, lovely weirdos.
Oh.
We are all going straight to purgatory. It's going to be a large bus. It's going to be loud and noisy and rowdy. And we are going to be fast tracked straight into heaven because it is going to be too noisy. Yes, Fry does want a playmate.
counsel for the defendant waive final arraignment and judgment and sentencing?
Probation report.
Yes, do we have one?
We do not have one.
Okay.
I understand that a court can order one,
Well, I think we have that.
and we do not want Mr. Pursehouse interviewed for the probation report. And I will be submitting a defense statement pursuant to Penal Code Section 1203.01 to go to CDCR along with.
And there is our Thinkin' Lincoln and that
Okay,
beautiful
having said that,
retro
individual promise,
mic.
my judgment should not be pronounced.
No, would the court like the time credits?
Yes, you can do that.
I believe there's 1,390 days of actual time served.
Okay.
That's calculated from February 15th, 2020 to today's date.
Okay, noted.
He was out on bail, but he
Eris, this is the most beautiful and glorious bench. Mr. Feeney / proof that Argentina may have smuggled, some stuff from, end days 1940 Germany, created little children who emigrated to America to become judges. Of course, he has no statement. He's a freaking coward. He's not going to say anything.
was wearing a ankle bracelet. So I believe those dates also should be included in the credits.
So the amount that you gave is the aggregate of all of that?
Correct.
Okay,
Your Honor,
yes?
as far as restitution,
Aw,
have
I
submitted
miss my Austrian painter friend.
documents for restitution to the Victims' Compensation Board in the amount of $7,500.
Okay.
And I have submitted documents to the defense for restitution to the victim's parents.
Seriously,
Thomas
did you
and
have
Howard
to have a
County,
microphone that looks like it was in World War II?
There may be a dispute as to dates. We're hoping we can
Did you
resolve
have to
that
have
issue on a
Lincoln in
later
the
date,
thinking position?
Without, I don't believe, I think council will waive the presence of her attorney for that purpose.
I believe Mr. Pursehouse will waive his
All right.
presence.
Do you want me to order it today, and then if it needs to be tweaked or modified, the court will do so at that time?
I think we'd like to just have the amount determined.
His mic
Okay,
matches
I
his
can certainly order
glasses.
the Victims'
Yes.
Compensation Board amount.
Right,
And
that-
one day,
I-
and not now, but one day it
Right,
matched
the-
his
the
watch.
remaining, the $25,103.95.
He's an orange watch band now.
For lodging and travel and parking and meals and so forth.
Right, I think council wants to dispute some of that amount. So we can
Judge
do
is
that
now-
at a later date.
Judge has the same pose.
Compensation Board.
Someone
Hopefully they
snap
can-
that. I need that as a
Do you want me to
t-shirt.
send it to you, or do you want to notify my clerk?
Lincoln versus Adolf.
And then calendar it at that point.
It's Albert.
I think the court's gonna need to make this.
Oh, I didn't say which
Right, so
one.
You want me to, once you reach that, the court can. then
I'm
set
not
it
a fan of
and
Lincoln.
advise the
He
court
was
as to
kind
what
of
you-
tyrannical.
We won't be able to agree.
Okay, you won't be
And
able
by
to-
kind of, like, seriously.
Oh, I thought you guys were gonna try to work it out. I misunderstood.
No,
Okay.
it's a dispute as to, when the trial started, or should the reimbursement?
It just
go
needs
with-
bronze eagles in frame.
Okay, so I take it that you will be,
It does have a kind of Tom Seleckian mustache.
Yes.
Okay. And the court will
Lincoln
ultimately
was a
decide.
tyrant. Yes, he
Okay.
kind of
That having been said.
suspended habeas
defendant is
corpus.
presumptively
He did fight
eligible for probation,
vampires though.
Absent a special
True.
finding that this was an unusual case where the interest of justice would be served if probation were granted pursuant to Penal Code Section 1203.
Probation?
Section E1. In view of the nature and the underlying.
I know California
charges,
is soft
as well
on
as the
crime,
conduct
but
engaged in by the defendant, this court is not inclined to impose a probationary sentence and or make a finding that the imposition of a probationary sentence would be in the interest of judgment. Accordingly, it is a judgment and sentence of this court that the defendant shall be sentenced to a term of life without the possibility of parole with respect to count one for the underlying murder charge, coupled with the special circumstance allegation alleged under Penal Code Section.
yeah, I mean, there was no
15.
there was no chance he was not getting life without parole.
Yeah, I mean, I think it wasn't statutorily required.
With special circumstances, yeah.
And it used to be the death penalty, but they've kind of phased out the death penalty under American Psycho.
He could have got the death penalty if they weren't phasing it out. So, yeah.
Murder, the defendant shall
All
serve
because he
additional
lied in
4
wait.
years. However,
If he just attacked her on the street, he'd probably have gotten parole. But they're lying in wait and financial motive for a crime in California. You're no bail for you. Life in prison without parole if convicted. Sorry, go on.
the term shall be stayed pursuant to Penal Code Section 654. Did I say first degree murder? I meant the count to first degree burglary. I misspoke. But that shall be stayed pursuant to 654. Thus, the defendant shall receive a total sentencing term of life without the possibility of parole, and with the 4-year midterm with respect to the burglary charge to be stayed per Penal Code Section 654. Defendant is to make restitution to the Victims' Compensation Board in the amount of $7,500 for burial costs. I understand that the parents have incurred additional cost in that nature. Is that correct?
Yes.
The defendant is to provide all appropriate DNA samples as dictated under Penal Code Section 296. Pay a restitution fine of $300. The court will stay the parole revocation fine of $300. He's to pay a court security fee of $40, a criminal convictions assessment fee of $30. He's also prohibited from owning, purchasing, receiving, possessing, or having under his custody or control any firearms, ammunition, and ammunition feeding devices, including but not limited to magazines. And you are also to relinquish all firearms in the manner provided under Penal Code Section 29.
Wait, you can't have firearms anymore?
Mr. Pursehouse, it is my duty at this time to advise you of your appellate rights. You have the right, absolute right to appeal from the judgment of this court and imposing sentence on you today. That means that if you wish to appeal, you must file your written notice of your intention to appeal within 60 days from today. An appeal not filed within 60 days shall be void and of no effect. The notice must be in writing and signed by you or your attorney or both of you. It must specify what you are appealing from, whether it is the whole judgment or just part of the judgment. If you appeal and do not have the financial ability to retain the services of an attorney to represent you on appeal, the appellate authorities will appoint.
We'll
counsel
seize
to
your joke
represent you.
book and sell it.
In that regard, it is
For
your
funds.
obligation to keep the appellate authorities advised.
Yeah, he really should be barred from
Correct residing
jokes.
address, so that they can be in touch with you to advise you of your appointed counsel. I'm going to set a future date with respect to the restitution aspect.
Sir, that mole on your face, have you
going
seen
to
a
occur.
dermatologist?
I
Because it's a
expect
little
that you'll
concerning
have
to me.
Some kind of itemization regarding the days of lodging, the days of travel, the days of meals and so forth. So I would expect that. How much time do you need? Going into January, obviously.
Wait, so they're going to make Gareth work for nickels an hour to pay back the parents for the flights that they had to take to be here for. I love it. I am here for it. Make him make Levi's jeans and license plates for 10 cents on the hour to pay for her parents to having to have been here for this torture.
Maybe they should, like, he can write jokes for SNL. He might actually improve the show.
Don't punish all of us.
Well, it's better than
Don't
what they
spread-
have now.
Don't spread that malignancy around.
Right, I need to get some more receipts from them regarding maybe meals and other expenses they had if they not.
I sentence him to conscription in the German army to invade Poland.
Can we do this in January?
Yeah, this guy had to go in January. We're dark starting the 16th.
Whatever's
15th, the last day.
Whatever's convenient for council.
Let's see,
I sentence you, sir, to the Russian front.
about January 31st.
I'm totally willing to let him go to fight for Ukraine. I mean,
So we said we agree. In the meantime, prior to that date.
we need
then
freedom
I-
fighters.
If you will, and then I'll set
Name.
up restitution at 8:30. All right,
Thank you.
all right, that'll be the order. Thank you.
Can the audience remain seated until the defendant's out of the courtroom?
So he didn't do like a judge's speech or anything. Usually judges take this time to let
I
the
know.
defendant really have it. This judge is like, well, I'm not inclined to give you parole. And it'll be life without parole.
I really-
And you can't have a firearm.
I really thought the grandson of an Austrian painter would be a little more strict.
Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Kind of
well,
disappointed.
I hate to cut this really, really quick, but it is just about dinner time.
Yum.
And,
Yeah, I gotta go take
well-
a shower.
well, there you go. Sal's OnlyFans starting in 10 minutes. Yes, sorry about that. We, as the world's most okayest mom, I've just now figured out where I hid the elves on the shelves because, of course, I have two, which means I suck out loud at remembering where the hell they are to begin with. So now I get to throw them around every day until Christmas
Yay.
and watch all the other parents on Facebook do crazy, ridiculous ass stuff, you know, and do all the extra shit like I have stuff to do. Anywho, I gotta go. Do you have anything to grift?
Just Dolly Talk. Come out and subscribe. Almost at 500. Help me get there and show my dad I can do something in life.
Well, there you go. Prove your dad wrong,
Exactly.
you know. And I will see you guys in the morning for Mornings with Mo. This was really good. You know, these, you know, victim impact statements are always hard. I know we do, you know, irreverent humor. It's not everyone's cup of tea. But like I said, the blonde woman, I mean, if Amy Harwick did nothing else, that woman is a testament to every single thing that she stood for and meant and did and was trying to do in this world. And you can't do more than that. I will see you guys later. Have a great day. Bye, guys.
Bye.